Hey guys, welcome back to the Wallum's World YouTube channel, and today we've got something a little bit different and we are on Pokedoku. So what this is like Sudoku but with Pokemon. As you can see along the top we have three categories on this particular Pokedoku, which is today's daily one. It's dual type, monotype and Hoenn, and then down the side we've got water, final evolution and dragon. And essentially what this is you think of, for each box you think of a Pokemon that matches each one. And there's a new one every day. We can play this one, which is today's one. I've not looked at this one until right now. And we can play some of the previous ones, which is in the archive. So you also get more points, or you get like, it sort of measures your percentage on kind of sort of how common your answer is, if that makes sense. So we will just get right into it, and we'll start at top left. We've got water and dual type, and it could be any dual type water. So I could literally stick in Gyarados, which could actually be quite high, but water flying fits the bill. And as you can see there, 3.7%. That's actually not as high as I thought it would be, but obviously it takes into account every Pokemon. It could take into account Megas, it could take into account Paradox forms, Legendaries, Mythicals. Everything you could think of is in here. G-Max forms, I'm pretty sure, feature as well. Because if obviously monotype water, you could do Inteleon. But what you could do is Inteleon G-Max, because it might be more rare. So if I click Inteleon G-Max, 0.7% have selected Inteleon G-Max. Could have been very unnecessary. Off the top of my head, for Hoenn, I'm thinking Mudkip, Marshtomp, that kind of thing. So I'll go Marshtomp, just to get an easy one in there. And that is top row done. 3.7, 0.7 and 3.7 again. So we'll go down to the next one. Might as well just go down. We've got final evolution, and then on the top we've got dual type, monotype and Hoenn. So dual type final evolution, we could do literally any, and obviously as you can see there it says does not include Pokemon without an evolutionary line. So if it's just one single Pokemon, it doesn't obviously take that into account. For example, Mew, obviously technically the final but the first, so it doesn't really work like that. But we will go for, what would be a rare one? What about Avalugg, but Hisui Avalugg, rock and ice? 0.2%. I'll take that, that's very good. Monotype final evolution, we could just go for regular Avalugg, just pure ice. Why not? 0.3. Final evolution and Hoenn. So we've got the starters in, we've got Mudkip, Trico, and so I could go Blaziken. I don't know what Trico's final evolution is. Can't think of what it's called. I'll have to go Blaziken, because I'm kind of blanking a little bit there. It's probably going to be quite high. 7.6, that's not too bad. Okay, so we've got Dragon, Mono, Dual and Hoenn. The only Hoenn Dragon I know is Salamence, which would work for Dual type as well, because he's Dragon Flying. So I could go for the first. I could go Bagon. That's pretty high, 12.8. So we've got dual type dragon, monotype dragon. I'll go Dracloak, Ghost Dragon. 0.7, we'll take that, and a monotype dragon, which could be Axew. Boom, 7.2, that's relatively high actually. I thought they'd be a little bit lower. But if we look at our game stats, we can see the person who's made this one, they've gone for quite a few different to what we did. They've obviously gone for Haxorus, whereas we've gone for Axew. You can see most common here. Blaziken was most common. That's the only one that we got that was most common. And least common, did we get any least common ones? Frogadier, Omanite, no, we didn't get any least common. But we didn't do too badly. I mean, obviously, we beat it. But I'll go find another one. I'm going to go just scroll through and pick a random one. And we'll get back to you when I've done that. Okay, so I have found the second Pokedoku puzzle that we're going to do today, and it's this one here. It's a little bit different to the last one we've got at the top: normal, fighting, and grass. And then down the side we've got evolved by level up, first evolution line, and no evolution line. So we can start with evolved by level up. We could go Vigoroth. I don't know why that's the first one that's come to my mind. 4.1%, that's not too bad. Fighting and evolved by level up, we could go for so many we could do. We could do Pangoro. I think the way it works, if it's evolved by level up, where you can see that red dot there, it's asking for the form it evolves into, not the form that evolves. So if you take, for example, Tyrogue, you've got Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, Hitmontop that could all be in there. You've got Beware. You've also got Graplocked. Now I'm pretty sure. Okay, Graplocked surprisingly high, I would argue. And grass and evolved by level up, we can go for. Let's go Gloom. Gloom levels up 5.8. They're all higher than I would have expected them to be completely honest. Fighting first and evolution line, we could go Pancham. Oh, we could go Clobbopus, I suppose. 5.8. I'd be surprised if Pancham's probably lower than that, I would imagine. First an evolution line and grass. We could go Bellsprout. 4.3. We've not got any that are like less than like 2%, which is we could do any of the. I'll tell you what we could do. We could do Fletchling, because Fletchling is normal flying. But then Fletchinder becomes fire flying. So I'm wondering whether people might be like, might not have 0.8. Okay, so we've got normal, fighting, and grass, and no evolution line. The first one that's come to mind for this one is Celebi, because it's a legendary. Cool. 8.2. Fighting and no evolution line. Phalanx works. I don't think Phalanx is. We'll take it. No evolution line. Normal. There's a. Is it Dramper? I think Dramper is normal dragon. And I don't think Dramper evolves from anything or to anything. Just trying to think if there are any other normal type Pokemon. I could get this wrong. Is he dragon flying or is he normal dragon? Is he dragon normal, dragon flying? I can't think of any other normal. I mean, I would say Snorlax isn't. I think I'm going to have to do this. Oh no, 9.1%. That's still pretty high. Our Fletchling pick was the pick of the bunch there. That was pretty good. This person got all within the lower percentages. Oranguru, Persimmon, and yeah, didn't think of them. Yeah, not bad going. Let's have a look at the most common. Is there any that match up? Dramper is actually the most common, which is surprising. Machoke, yeah, fair. fair. It seems like what I've realised is that a lot of the, I think, it seems to be like it's just a lot of Gen 1 seem to be quite high. Did we get any of the least common ones? No, I think the closest obviously we got was Fletchling, and with, I mean, there's Swablu, which is 0.5, so fair enough. Not too bad. It's another dub, and I'll be back when I find the third and probably final Pokedoku of this episode. Okay, so I have found the third and final Pokedoku of the day. This is created by someone called Midas on Twitter. Don't know if they're someone who's well known within like the Pokemon space, but that's aside from the fact. So along the top we've got Fighting, Paldea and Area 0 and Ground, and on the left hand side we've got Dual Type, First Partner and Final Evolution. Obviously the thing to make notice of for this one is the Paldea is what's originated in that area, not ones that just feature in that area. So we can just go straight from the rip with Fighting Dual Type. The first one that comes to mind is probably going to be very high because he's like the guy is Lucario. 5.8 is actually not anywhere near as high as I expected it to be. Dual Type and Ground, I can do Rhydon, Rock and Ground. Not a bad shout, 1.4, quite nice. Dual Type and Paldea, you could do, let's do, I suppose we could do Tinkerton. 1.4. Steel and Fairy type is what they are. So the First Partner, obviously that's going to be a starter Pokemon. So Fighting, we've got Quaquaval, who's water fighting. We've got Infernape, Emboar, Blaziken. I'm going to do, Emboar, Quaquaval. 8.8, that's relatively high, but not, I don't think that's too bad. Paldea and First Partner. So we've obviously got Quaxley, Coco, Sprigatito. We've got Crocolaw, Quaxwell. The middle stage. We could do Florigato. I feel like that would be the lowest. Middle stage of Sprigatito, 8.7. Oh, I could be very wrong there. First Partner and Ground. The only one I can think of is Swampert. What other ones are there? I don't think there are any others. But surely there's more than one. 30.3. Obviously very high. Genuinely can't think of any others. We'll do Rhyperior. Ground Final Evo. Final Evo and Paldea. We could have done Tinkerton there. Grafai? I don't know why. I think that's Paldean. Nice, 1.3. That's pretty good. We've got Final Evolution and Fighting. The one I'm thinking of, the one that's just sprung to mind is Surfetched. Because it's a Galarian Farfetched's evolution. Okay. Right. So Midas's picks pretty similar. I was going to say pretty similar. Swampert's the same. They had a similar idea with Sprigatito and Florigato. I feel like that's the more forgettable one out of the two. And they've put Tinkerton in a separate position. But if we go most common, did we get any that matched? Quaxwell actually was the highest, and Blaziken was the highest, so we did alright avoiding them. Torterra, of course. For some reason, I always think Torterra is grass and steel, which makes no sense because Empoleon is steel type. So let's have a look at these. Quaquaval actually got the lowest in the middle section. Marshtomp was less than Swampert. I guess the middle stage, is also ground. We weren't far off with Grafaiai. And the rest of it, they're very... I mean, Frigipax is very forgettable, obviously, as you can see, because I completely forgot he existed. Wormadam Sandy, Dunsparce 2 segment, not far off with Grafaiai there. And Surfetched at 2%, Lilligant Hisui. Okay. Not bad going. I actually really enjoy playing this, so if at some point in the future you want to see me do more, I think 3 in a video is quite nice. I know there's one on here that was created by Pokedex Fillers, who's quite a big Pokemon person on YouTube. Watch a few of his videos, so I'm familiar with him. Be interested to see what one he's created, so I could do that one. And other than that, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy, please leave a like. Let me know if you want me to do more. And I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody, and goodbye.